Here's Jay Dyer. Here's Jay Dyer posting about total nonsense on his YouTube. All right, I'm gonna be rude to Jay Dyer, minimally. I'm, you know what? I'm a relatively respectful person. Okay, I'm gonna be nice. I don't think it's good to just like spread hate about people, but I'm gonna be rude to Jay Dyer because Jay Dyer was rude to me first, and so I feel like he threw the first rude, and therefore I feel that I can throw back rude if I feel like it, and I feel like it a little bit. I'll go over my comment in section. But he's been posting for days, several of these. I'm going to go over his live stream from literally the night before I'm recording this. He's just been posting stupid stuff like this. The next post after this is even worse, actually. I saw this one first, and so it's the one that I responded to. And there's a couple of things that I need to point out about this because it's actually really interesting. And so let me show you first where Jay Dyer started by being rude about this. I want to preface by saying I don't really care for Jay Dyer. Actually, now I absolutely 0% care for Jay Dyer, but before I never cared for Jay Dyer. And what happened is after I had to unfollow Mike Winger and Inspiring Philosophy for being sellouts, I was like, I need some new Christian content creators who are like in on this, who like recognize that the world is an evil place and are going to at least tell the truth. So I dislike Jay Dyer. I think he's unfunny. And I hate his style. I hate everything about his style. I hate his sunglasses and his like LSD trip environment, vibe, his whole LSD trip vibe of his channel. I don't like it. It just it's not my style at all. But I went in with I was like, Jay Dyer, you're going to be my buddy. You're going to be a great Christian content creator. I'm so excited to have somebody because Jay Dyer is a huge occult exposer. He's very aware of the occult. He's very aware of the esoteric. And he's talking all about the occult stuff. And he's aware. He's aware that there are elites that are in the occult conspiring against us. Oh, he knows that they run Hollywood. He did like books on that. The most successful videos on his channel are about like occult symbolism in Hollywood. My guy. Oh, a trustworthy place. At least we can sit here and he won't attack Candace Owens. Then, a week ago, he sold his soul. He sold his soul a week ago. Oh man. And I was like, oh man, I didn't like him to begin with, and now he hasn't even given me the opportunity to like him because he had to do this. It's depressing, really. I'm depressed. That's how I'm feeling. So, Jay Dyer. So I commented pretty much exactly what I just told you. First, this is actually the second thing I did. I'm going to go over the first thing that I did because it's even crazier. I said, so the occult being in control of government and entertainment is reasonable to Jay Dyer. But the documented occult pursuits of disclosed CIA programs is where we draw the line. Surely the scientists at CERN would never worship demons. Don't we believe in demon worshippers here? And so I asked, this is a legitimate question, okay? I'm being a little sarcastic. I wasn't being rude. This is a sarcastic comment, but I'm genuinely confused. My question, which piece of this post is an issue for Jay Dyer's worldview? Is your worldview not the same as my worldview? Which piece of this information is Project Looking Glass, CERN doing rituals? Which piece of that information is an issue for Jay Dyer's worldview? That's a legitimate question. Here's what Jay Dyer said. Unfollow me, you're dumb. I wasn't following you to begin with, Jay. I was thinking about it. I was researching you. Researching you. Also, he got ratioed. I love that. He has got 10 likes here. I have 26. This guy's got 17 just for saying no argument, just name calling. I don't even know what else he said. And then two of his followers called us the R word in code. Their version of the code R word. That's what we call called. So if you're wondering what to expect when you go on Jay Dyer, it's these people. These are Jay Dyer's following. So in case you were wondering whether Jay Dyer's outfit here is high IQ, they are not. And Jay Dyer pretends to be really smart so that he can say, unfollow me, you're dumb. But he, I just let his followers speak for themselves. Listen, everybody doesn't have to be validated by our followers, but they're really just like jumping on the bandwagon with what he already said. This is already like a trash. He responded to absolutely nothing. What piece of this is an issue for your worldview, Jay? Which piece of this is an issue for your worldview? Why is this an issue for your worldview? What she said. It's a genuine question. Let me go even crazier with you on this original post. Before I wrote this comment, I was involved. There was a big chain of comments here going over Candace's views. And a lot of it was about the investigation and what things she uncovered about TPSA. And commenters being like, everything she said is debunked. And me and one other Candace supporter were debating back and forth in these threads. Really good stuff. Some really good content in there about what was debunked. Give us examples of what was debunked. I'm telling you what wasn't debunked. I'm telling you that she's doing an investigation, and every lead that hasn't panned out, she's stopped pursuing. But tell me what of her claims has been debunked. And there was this huge chain of it. And one guy on the chain even listed like all of the evidence, like all of the main points, like about the 30-6 and about like all the important information you need to know why the TPUs, they think. That's not the topic. It's not the topic today. The topic is why attack Candace Owens again. But again, before I get into this, I need to paint for you Jay Dyer's character. Here's Exhibit A of Jay Dyer's character, which is why I'm going to call Jay Dyer a dweeb. Jay Dyer's a dweeb after this. He's an absolute dweeb. I'm willing to say it. I'm sorry. In the name of the Lord, you dweeb. The next crazy part of this, I don't want to show you all I'm going to have to blur this out. And then I need to show you my notifications, but not all of them. Oh, no, it's finally gone. Oh my gosh. This is actually crazy. Okay. No, it's not. It's right here. Okay. I'll cut and show you this. I'll blur this out and show it to you. Here's his reply. But you can see that before this, I was in this chat with this guy. Actually, no, this guy's my enemy. And this is on the same post, this post. And I'll show you. If I click this, it takes you to this post, vindicated total nonsense. It's this one. But it doesn't take me to my comment thread. If you click it, it doesn't take me to my comment thread. That comment thread, started by that guy whose name you saw, is nowhere. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist in here. So guess what happens? Guess what happened? The one, let me just throw out an accusation here because I don't know how else this would have happened. The one thread, a long thread with lots of likes, where me and another guy were tearing apart the TPUSA narrative and pointing out the issues with it, was deleted by Jay Dyer. Jay Dyer went on here and deleted the comment thread. I'm sorry, let me just throw a conspiracy theory at you. Here, I will literally prove it to you. I'm literally proving it to you. Someone liked your comment? Oh, there it is. There's my post. That's the post right there. I go back to the other one. Someone liked your comment. Oh, comments on Vindicate. It doesn't exist. That comment's not here anymore. Every time you click a comment, it takes you to the thread that the comment was in. It doesn't exist because Jay Dyer deleted it. Because Jay Dyer can't handle the real information, which is just obviously true from his character. But, it's confirmed now. Here's my proof and evidence of it. I'd love to give you proof and evidence. I literally screenshotted this notification because I'm like, I might literally need this. I might literally need to have that screenshotted so that I can show it to you. I'm boggled. My mind is boggled by this. I cannot believe that Jay Dyer. It's the first time I ever commented on a Jay Dyer post, and I was called dumb, restart ed. And I was called, and my post, half of my post, it wasn't even started by me. It was started by another commenter calling out like lack of evidence or something. And then me and another guy just like ratioing them on all of the evidence. And Jay Dyer deleted it because he's a dweeb and he can't handle it. Oh boy. Oh boy. It's fun. It's fun in games. It's all fun in games here. I mean, I always knew in my gut, in my soul of souls, which Jay Dyer doesn't believe exists. He doesn't believe I can discern unless I have an Orthodox priest tell me what to discern. But in my discernment, I always knew that Jay Dyer was a fake and phony. Something about the sunglasses, probably. Let's listen to Jay Dyer. Cringe Jay Dyer wearing sunglasses indoors. And honestly, in hindsight, this is really cringe. This whole thing. This is his stream from yesterday as of my time of recording. It was a Sunday stream or a Saturday night stream. And so I'm going to play this, just like a little section for you. And I'm going to recap. I watched about 3/4 of this stream so that you didn't have to. Because I was listening live and deciding whether I should go in and debate him on his ex. And I think he gave like... Listen, I wasn't listening the whole time, so I don't want Jay. He's going to come out and say, like, he totally lied about me. He's probably not even going to see this. But my point is, like, I was listening to potentially have an opportunity to debate him because he said he was accepting people on X to debate about Candace. I didn't hear anybody else get called in except for, like, one time where he brought in some other blue checkmark people to basically just back up his claims. Like, some other people came in to, like, just be on his side in the X space. And so I just ended, like, I was watching on and off. We were busy last night. I thought about hopping in. I didn't really get the opportunity. So, but I had to listen to this then off and on for like several hours. And then I went back over it today. And this is the cringiest. It's like the cringiest thing I've ever been a part of. First of all, let me remember where I am. We're at 1:17:30. This is the beginning of it, just by the way, in case you've never encountered a Jay Dyer stream. For those of you who have encountered a Jay Dyer stream, you're gonna know. But like, let me just show you some Jay Dyer. Advertisements. Sorry, we didn't go YouTube Premium out here, boys. I didn't have the bucks for that. I haven't sold out like Jay Dyer to afford YouTube Premium. Let me go back here. Here's how Jay Dyer streams start, by the way.
They are persecuting me. They do not have spiritual eyes to see, not understand.
This is his own music.
That's that booger whistle, baby. They're energy vampires. That's that booger whistle, baby.
What was there was something with like a CGI. Where is?
Very good. You have a very plump bottom. You have a very plump hinder. Y'all ready for this? We're gonna open it up. Open forum. We're gonna be talking about COINTELPRO.
This is him making fun of Voice of Reason. Which, like, yeah, but like, oh my gosh, this is so cringy. I'm like losing my mind. I don't know how anybody watches this. I sat through this. I had to turn this part off. I said I will come back after the intro because I'm like, I'm cringing and dying. My wife was going to divorce me. She's like, what are you watching? What is that? End it. Jay Dyer, does Jay Dyer have a wife? I don't want to attack him unfairly, but if he does have a wife, I'm sorry for that girl. I'm sorry for that girl. He probably does not. Probably has a boyfriend. Sorry, I said it. I said the quiet part out loud. Should I cut that out of the video? I probably won't. Listen, Jay, I'm not attacking your character. I just think you're a dweeb. Everything I'm saying is jokes. You're a comedian. I'm a comedian, buddy. We're joking. It's all jokes out here. Anyways, he spends the entire stream he makes essentially an intro argument. Okay, you can go watch this for yourself. You can tell me what I've gotten wrong about it. Listen to it. Listen to an hour and a half. Honestly, an hour. I listened to up to the point where he was like listening to just nonstop David Icke's videos. He spends the entire stream trying to say that he thinks Candace Owens is disinformation from the CIA directly. So we've created here an even bigger conspiracy theory, which is that in fact, Candace Owens is a schizophrenic who has been chosen by the CIA in order to disseminate information. Now, to his credit, he does give other examples of people who have been schizophrenic and were chosen by the CIA to apparently, or allegedly, or seemingly to give disinformation. The problem is that those people have absolutely zero. I listened to this. I really listened to this. I was like, this has zero in common with what Candace Owens is saying, unless you're not listening to Candace Owens. Now, he admitted that he doesn't really listen to Candace Owens and that people told him to go and listen to this full episode. And he goes through the full episode and pretends that it's funny, even though he knows it's true. And so he goes through this whole episode. Also, it's also the worst episode to go through. Like, yes, she made this one easy to pick on. She's talking about CIA projects and certain satanic rituals. Yes, this is conspiracy theory stuff. She took an episode to do some conspiracy theory stuff. And this gives Jay Dyer his opportunity to pounce on and say some crazy stuff, because nobody could ever think that Jay Dyer's content is crazy either. So my point is, he spends this entire time, he does review Candace's video at one point. He goes through Candace's video, but then he spends all this time just going over other people. First of all, talking about paranoid schizophrenia, and he makes, in my opinion, no case whatsoever that Candace has anything in common with a schizophrenic, aside from trying to say that some of the things that she says are things that schizophrenics also can say. But there's this really interesting point that I thought of while he was going through this whole thing, which is like, here's the difference between a conspiracy theory, a crazy, cringe conspiracy theory, and the truth. One of them is true. So take something, for example, like Candace Owens claiming to have an assassination hit out on her. That's either true or false. If it's false, then it's a crazy, cringe, conspiracy, schizophrenic thing, right? Like if she thinks that, but it's not true, then yeah, it's a crazy, cringe, but if it's true, if somebody actually did email her and she checked their credentials and they appeared to be somebody high up in the French government, were in the French military who would have access to information like that. And they said like, hey, they've put a hit out on you. And she actually, and you can document it, she documentedly reported it to the investigative services in America. If you can prove that, then it's true. So the crazy thing about schizophrenics and non-schizophrenics is the difference between them is what is and what is not true. So yes, some things that she said would be schizophrenic if they weren't true. Obviously. Like obviously. The same is true of like anything, by the way. Like if I told you that in 2020, the government was going to accidentally lose access to a fake fabricated virus and it was going to take over the entire world and there would be a huge national pandemic, that could sound like crazy sauce to you. That could, trust me, bro, I've been reading the science and there's going to be a crazy pandemic. That would sound like crazy to you. But if it comes true, I'm no longer crazy. I'm no longer schizophrenic. So I know that what I've just said is going to lead Jay to believe that, yes, I agree with you, Creed, but I'm taking the side that she's obviously schizophrenia. She's obviously schizophrenic unless proven not. And I'm saying to him, I think she's not. And I'll listen if she's proven is. If she's proven is. But just the size of her platform, the people around her, the people who speak to her, I think we'd have a really good set of awareness if Candace Owens actually had schizophrenia. Okay? Not only does she not sound schizophrenic to me, personally, but also she has reason to believe things like this. So for example, she has reason to believe that the French government might be out to get her because quite literally, she did a report alleging something really not harmful. Like, well, it is harmful. She made a report alleging something about the French president's wife, independent of what we're talking about here today. Okay. And she was sued by a foreign government. It's like never happened before. A foreign government suing a media content creator here in the United States for saying nasty things about them. So she has reason to believe that the French government might have something against her, and she's documented proof that anybody can look up that they might have reason to be out to get her. So saying like she's paranoid because she thinks that people are out to get her and working against her, like we have documented proof of that, Jay. So that's part one. And so again, he spends all this time talking about, this is the schizophrenia part. And then he spends forever and a millennium on David Icke. I guess it's Icke. I don't know anything about this person. He's somebody who claimed, he was like a cult leader or something. And he claimed to be a messiah. And he was actually like a Gnostic, crazy person. And Jay spends so much time talking about this guy. And I'm just sitting there thinking, Jay, this sounds nothing like, when is Candace Owens claimed to be the messiah? What is she claiming that is even remotely similar to that? She's not claiming anything about the deity of Christ. He plays this video of David Icke. He goes through this David Icke video, like an entire, here it is, this interview, for like an hour of this guy, just over and over and over again. And then he debunks everything that this guy says. And I'm like, that's great, Jay. But by doing that, you have debunked absolutely nothing relating to Candace Owens. Absolutely nothing. Like he goes through this guy's video and he's like, here he claims that Christ was actually Christ was actually a bad guy and that the world is bad, and that's what the Gnostics believe. And so here we have the fact that David Icke is a Gnostic. Thank you, Jay. Thank you for disproving this false Messiah. I never thought he was the Messiah. Do you know who else I never thought was the Messiah? Candace Owens. Do you know who nobody thinks is the Messiah? Any of Candace Owens' followers. You would be hard pressed to find any of her 6 million followers who are going to tell you that they think that Candace Owens is the Messiah. She hasn't claimed it, and nobody around her is going to claim it. Jay. And he latched on a little bit to this one Gnostic point about how the world is so evil, and that Candace Owens has been talking about The Matrix, and The Matrix is a Gnostic movie. I agree with all that. That's great. Candace Owens doesn't know that. That's not why she's talking about The Matrix. First of all, she's talking about The Matrix because she's saying everything around us is crazy and screwed up and weird, and Jay Dyer's not willing to admit that. And again, the original post that I said, which is like, which piece of this is an issue for Jay Dyer's worldview? Does he not agree with that? Does he not believe that? Does he not believe that? Do you not believe that the world is a screwed up place with evil people in the top places of power? If Jay Dyer doesn't believe that, then like he's lost credibility to me. My grandma believes that. Like everybody knows that. Everybody knows that. Again, this is different from the Gnostic claim. Let me separate it out for you, Jay, so you can't take me out of context here. This is different from the claim that the universe is a bad place where the bad God rules and the demiurge, who is God, is the actual bad guy, and Satan, the ruler of this world, is the good guy. It's not the Gnostic claim. We're not making the Gnostic claim here. Candace Owens is saying the people in power, not a universe structure. She's not even necessarily saying the Mandela effect for that reason. She's saying all of this stuff feels weird, and she thinks it's because the government is doing something sketchy. And a cult. Which, like, I'm not opposed to that. No facet of my worldview where I believe that God is the creator of the universe and that Christians are Jesus' kingdom on earth, but that Satan is the ruler of this world, and he has not been kicked out yet, because in Revelation it says that he will pursue the other children, which is the Christians, until the time in which he is defeated. So Satan's still prowling around like a roaring lion. I doubt that Jay Dyer disbelieves that, because no Christian across church history disbelieves that tangibly. And so if I'm saying that I think the devil is the one being worshipped by those in the absurd places of power, because there's not a single billionaire out there who hasn't risked the lives of innocent people to get where they are, again, a tangible claim, I would say, then what is the issue, Jay? She's not saying that the world is a Gnostic world where, like, Satan is the good guy. That's not what we're saying. We're saying the people in positions of power, the government, Hollywood, corrupt, rich organizations like pharmaceutical companies, those people are worshiping demons. That's her claim. You can agree with it or disagree with it. It's not the topic of today's episode, so I won't lecture you on it. But I hardly think that's disbelievable. Like, I'm happy to argue with you about that specific point. But if that's what Candace thinks, like, more power to her. More power to her for thinking that. Like, you can argue to me that you don't think that. I think that's a little naive, brother. Like, if you think, like, I'm sure you think that we're in a spiritual battle. Actually, I know you do. I know you think that there's a cult stuff going on out there. But if you don't think it takes that active of a role, then that's what you're debating. So debate that. Stop calling her a cult leader. Stop calling her a schizophrenic, and just debate her points. Hey, I don't actually think that TPUSA has people in it who are demonic and would be willing to sacrifice their friend. Okay, what evidence do you have for that? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about what that looks like. Hey, I don't really think that our federal government is corrupt and led by people who have CP blackmail on them, and probably because they were doing demonic rituals on Jeffrey Epstein's island or something like that. Like, that's fine. That's fine. I don't need you to believe that. But what do you propose instead? Just offer an alternative. That, again, I think that's what I wanted to talk here about this. What did I say? It was 1:17:30. That's what I wanted to talk about here at this clip. I think that, like, that's basically what Jay, you're killing me with the ads, bro. My point is, yes, and that is kind of what he's going to say here. Like, but my point is, debate the issue. Stop trying to cancel her for being a crazy person. Stop saying, hey, you're just a crazy person. Again, if any of these people was being even remotely strategic, you would know that calling a content creator who 3 to 4 million people follow daily and watch their long form content, spend a lot of time with daily, if you're a hardcore Candace viewer, those people, if you call Candace blatantly schizophrenic and crazy, you're alienating every single one of those people. Jay Dyer doesn't care because he's just going to call you dumb anyway. But I expected these other people to have some more grace in how they handle it. Jay Dyer, I didn't have many expectations from. He exceeded my low expectations by going even lower than what they were. Like, that's it. That's it, buddy. You exceeded my very low expectations by going even lower than I thought you would. Oh, buddy. Let's listen to what he has to say here at this point.
Either or, you can have a degree of volition and guilt, even in situations where you're not primarily guilty, but you can still concede to or acquiesce to the temptation to pride and delusion, which is what a lot of this is built on. Now, in the case of Candace or in the case of these other people, they buy into conspiracy theories, which then begin to dominate the entire worldview. Not saying that there's no conspiracy theories, but I'm saying that this becomes a worldview. It becomes a all-pervading grand narrative. And because you've gotten so much opposition from people and you're in this position of...
So, yes. Like, yes. These conspiracy theories are a reflection of Candace's worldview. Yes, that's correct. First of all, he always lumps in there, he's like, Candace and these other people. Like, yes, the cult leaders also have a worldview, but it is not the same worldview as what Candace Owens is spouting. I just told you what I think the worldview is that Candace Owens is spouting, which is that Christ is king, And Christians are supposed to feel like aliens on earth. Paul says that in the New Testament, which is a lot of what she talks about. And the reason is because earth is the world, one of the great enemies of Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ only has a couple of people that he names like as his enemies. He's like, these are the bad guys. It's like the devil and the Pharisees and the world or the flesh. Those two things. Those are the enemies. Those are the bad guys in the whole New Testament. It's the world and the flesh. You are of the world. You are of their father, the devil. That's what he says. That's a separate category. And that's what Candace is saying. Candace is saying the world, the flesh, and the devil are in power, in the positions of human power and corruption. And that's evident from their actions. It's evident from their actions. Again, that's not the point I'm arguing, but I'm saying that's the worldview she's promoting. And if that's the worldview that Jay Dyer takes issue with, then I would like to hear him attack that worldview specifically. Instead of just saying, look, guys, I've looked into a bunch of CIA cults, and here you can see there's a cult leader. He said he was the Messiah. Candace is also saying she's the Messiah, I think. And sorry, he talks a little slow for me. I'm a fast talker. He goes a little slow for me. I'm not convinced that I'm the dumb one and Jay Dyer is the smart one. So you'll have to forgive me for that. But listen, Jay Dyer knows his stuff about the occult. I'll give him that. Like, to some extent, I think Jay Dyer very much knows his stuff about the occult. Like, I'll give him that. That's part of why I'm so disappointed. I'm disappointed in each of these content creators for a different reason. Jay Dyer, I expected nothing of his character, but I expected him to be on board. Like, I thought I would always not enjoy listening to Jay Dyer, but at least he would be on board with Candace's investigation because it's taking her in the right directions. Because I thought his worldview would be similar to hers. And frankly, I want to know what his worldview is. I don't know what I don't know what Orthodoxy's position is on spiritual warfare, on like what it looks like to them, like the world is a larger structure. I don't know. But that's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering what that has to do with it.
Having 5-10 million followers, you begin to believe I'm a special anointed person who's figured it all out.
She never said that. She's never said that. She says some things. She says, like, I have dreams. Again, her just being honest. She's never said anything that puts her in a position of authority at all. She said I was close friends with Charlie Kirk and that all of his other friends are acting weird, which I think anybody looking in agrees with. She's not saying I was his special friend. I was his special closest friend. No, she was obviously close with him. They texted a lot. She's got a lot of text message, both recent and from a while ago. Like, they were obviously buddies. He texts her very casually, which tells me that they were buddies. He runs things past her that are kind of spiritual, kind of dreamy, kind of emotional, which tells me that they were close and they were friends. That's reasonable. She never says I was his special friend. She says I'm his only friend that's acting right now. And everybody who watches her agrees with that because they're like, why is Charlie Kirk's wife not as interested in what the heck happened to her husband as we are? We saw him got shot and we didn't know him, but we've spent a lot of time with him online. It's possible we even spent more time with him than she did. But that's why we're weirded out, because we want them to be as interested as we are. It's that easy. It's literally that easy.
Therefore, they've got to be after me. I've got to be being tracked. And
she didn't say that. The only thing that she said in related to they've got to be after me is the pastors are attacking me. She gave documented evidence of that. There's hundreds of people reporting pastors going on stage around the same time and saying, don't follow Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson. It's weird, Jay. If it's not weird to you, that's fine. That's fine, Jay. I don't know what to do for you. Like, I don't know how to help you if that's not weird to you. And the French thing, which I already gave evidence for, like, I would say if she's being sued by the leaders of the French government, which is sus, and then she thinks or she gets information that they have a hit out on her, that's reasonable. If she just came out and said, like, hey, I think the French government is trying to kill me, and provided documentation, then that would be sketch. But she came out and she said, hey, I got a tip from someone who I confirmed was high up in the federal government. And they said that there's a hit out on me from the French government. And that's how she said it too. Everybody was telling her to get security. And she's like, nah, I'm not making it like a huge deal. Like, I believe that Jesus is going to take care of this. She behaves nothing like a schizophrenic person. Like, she'd be like, oh my gosh, I just hired 50 security guys with all the money that I've supposedly been making. I have a huge $80,000 security team to protect me because I know the French government's trying to kill me every moment of every day and I don't go to the grocery store. She's done nothing like that. She's been absolutely 0% crazy person. She's acted like totally stable and sane through that. So there's that. There's the pastors coming out against her. There's everybody attacking her on Twitter. That's not a conspiracy theory. This video is highlighting it right now. Why did every Christian content creator who has no relation to Candace Owens and has never spoken about her before, and has, as far as I'm aware, never attacked another content creator spouting conspiracy theory? I've never seen Mike Winger go after Joe Rogan in a post and say, like, he's schizophrenic, he's cray, or Tucker Carlson, because, again, they all want to get invited on there, including Jay Dyer. Jay Dyer's not going to attack Tucker Carlson, at least not in a full video, because he wants to get invited on there. It'd be huge for him. He cares about views very much. Let me show you. Let me show you how much Jay Dyer cares about views. Look at his posts. This is what he's doing. He goes back and forth between attacking Candace Owens and her claims, and then saying, multiple clips this week getting hundreds of thousands of views. Keep clipping. Clip my videos so people see me. See me. And then he does laughing posts where he only gets 50 likes. That's double. That's only double. This has been an entire day, by the way. And he only has 2 times as many likes as I got on that one single post. On his absolute nonsense. On his absolute nonsense and the absolute nonsense people that he's retweeting. So Jay Dyer really wants to go on Tucker Carlson to get more views on his clips. Hundreds of thousands of views. That's what he's chasing. That's what Jay Dyer wants. Listen, I'm being rude because he was rude first. Okay? It's possible that Jay Dyer is not as rude as he seems, but I sat through this stream and I am not impressed at all at his character. Let me see if he says anything else interesting here.
And I'm not joking, okay? She could be a grifter. It could be fake. She could really believe it. I don't know the motives. I'm just going to go by as far as I can determine. And you'll notice when she gets to the part where she plays the Daily Wire Ben Shapiro video that was poking fun at her, she actually starts reading into it that the red letters are secret Mossad codes that they're going to kill her. Okay, that's where it's getting into like the Terry Davis level stuff here.
That's stupid. That's not, and then he goes back to playing this completely unrelated video about a paranoid schizophrenic. Like after saying that, he's like, let's go back to what I do know about, which is this video that I did watch and do know. Because I've never watched a Candace episode other than this one. It's not red. There was no Mossad code. There was a message at the end of the video that was like, don't, or something bad will happen. I don't remember what it was. And she was saying like, is that directed at me? Because this entire video is directed at me. That's not a crazy thing to think. The Daily Wire has been attacking her. Ben Shapiro has bought his way onto every stage that he can manage just to go up and say, people can't be listening to Candace Owens. You can't be listening to Candace Owens, who doesn't believe in the Holocaust. She's a denier. That's what Ben Shapiro, that's not what Ben Shapiro sounds like. That's what Ben Shapiro sounds like in my head now. He's unlistenable. He's unlistenable too. So I think that's sufficient. I think I've sufficiently ranted. I'm like well over an hour. I've sufficiently ranted for tonight. I can't take it anymore. All right, I just like, oh, look at dog. We've got a dog. Can I zoom? I don't think I can change my camera perspective. Dog is back here under our portrait. Under our picture back there, you can see dog. Dog chilling. Hello, dog. Yeah. I'm just like, this has been crazy to me. It's been sitting. You can tell I had a lot to say. This has been sitting on me for so long because I've just been so frustrated. I'm like, I cannot believe, like, it would be fine if a couple people felt like they had to talk about this because they thought it was crazy, supposedly Jay Dyer. I want to ask him his genuine reason. Like, Jay Dyer, what is your reason for coming out so hard against Candace right now? And his answer seems to be because I think that she is an intel op feeding disinformation. Then my question is, so what are you doing to prevent that? Are you just helping your audience stay away from Candace Owens? Is that your goal? Your 180K subscribers and actually only 15K people watching you. Is your goal is to keep your 15K people from watching Candace Owens? Because that's fine. Like, I'll leave you alone. Whatever, if that's your goal. But if your goal is to change the minds of Candace Owens viewers, then like, extend an olive branch, bro. You can't just go calling them crazy and then calling everybody who asks you a question dumb. It's not only is it unchristian, I'm super content to say that. You and your followers can't be out here calling people the R word. Like, you just actually can't. You actually can't do that. I would condemn if my subscribers did that. Like, again, as I said before, you don't have a responsibility for your subscribers' actions. I think it's totally fine that Candace's people are going and harassing TPUC people online, not any actual harassment, not legal harassment, because there's no such thing as cyberbullying when you're an adult. There's just not. When you're an adult, there's no such thing as cyberbullying. We're not Europe. That's a ridiculous law. We have free speech. You can say whatever you want about anybody. And his followers can call me the R word. They have the full freedom of speech right to do that. But in my opinion, it should invalidate them as Christians. Can you imagine a Christian? I don't know. I don't know what kind of churches you guys go to, and I don't know what it's like at the Greek Orthodox Church, but we don't be calling each other the R word when we disagree with them, especially if I'm claiming to be a brother in Christ. I guess he didn't know that in my post, but like to assume that and just like call people, like, I don't know. I'm willing to call it unchristlike, and I don't think we should be acting in such and such a way as that. So, checks out to me. And yeah, I'm just super disturbed by this. Like, does what I'm saying make sense to y'all? If it doesn't make sense to y'all, then leave me a comment. I'm like super open to it. Please don't call me the R word. Like, can we just engage like human beings? I was a little fired up because I'm a little upset about this. To me, this like these guys just strike me as weak men attacking Candace Owens, like ganging up on Candace Owens when she seems to be like the only person who has the courage to stand up. I made the Daily Wire example. Like she's a woman among men who won't stand up and do anything and are not willing to stand up and say what everybody else is thinking. And to me, it just looks sketchy. I think it makes everybody around this situation look sketchy. That's what I believe about it. And that's what I'm saying about it. So if you have been, thank you so much for watching. I hope you'd consider sticking around with the channel. I have been Creed, and I really appreciate your time. I appreciate you watching. I hope you have a good one.